So good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Listen, I took Monday as my holiday too. So I believe in rest and restoration as part of healing and mindset and restoring. I think is very important. So this morning I just wanted to pop on just for a short time to encourage you guys in the area of love, marriage, and relationships. Isn't that the area that a lot of people struggle with? They're always talking about statistically that 50% of marriages end in divorce. And strangely enough, I've heard a statistic, and I haven't checked it as of lately, but even in the Christian community, that marriage, like 49% of marriages still end in divorce. So why is marriage so hard? Why is being in a relationship with other people such a struggle? Why are we a society who haven't been taught to handle, deal with, communicate our feelings or emotions? And why is it that we haven't been taught that everything that affects you isn't about you? Why is it so difficult to say the hard things, the challenging things to those people we care about for fear that they will shut us out of their life, disconnect from us, stop talking to us? And why is the silent treatment or withholding a strategy in relationships? Like, these are all of the kind of questions I ask all the time because we will do things to our detriment that we see this not working, but we continue to do it. Like, we suffer in silence. We don't say, what I really want to say is that I truly miss you. But we hold to this idea of um, being strong and not being weak. And, we've been taught that vulnerability is a weakness, but it's not. And I keep wondering when, as a society, as humans, we're going to get better at being human beings to each other and for each other. And if we can't do it in the workspace, right? If there's not space in the workspace to do it, if there's not space outside of the house to do it, how is it we can't even do it in our own homes? So I want to talk a little bit about that this morning. Like, how are we defining relationships? What do we think is the purpose of a relationship? And why are they so difficult? And I think part of the problem with relationships is that in the defining of them and in the false idea that these relationships, these connections are supposed to bring happiness. And when there's no happiness, then we believe, well, then I need to end the relationship. But I will say this, 12 years into our marriage, I've been married now for almost 30 years, guys. 2024 made 27 years Andre and I've been married. And I really do still like my husband. Like, that's very important to me. I'm not just married for the sake of, like, I'm gonna just stay in this where we've been in it for so long. One of the things that was super important to me is not to just be married, but to be happily married. But one of the problems with that notion of being happily married, particularly in the early phases of our marriage, those first 12 years, I did not know that happy is a horrible goal for marriage. And the reason I say that is because when the happy isn't there, then what? Does that mean that the marriage is over? Does that mean that we failed? It's not successful? Happy is a horrible goal. What we learned after 12 years of finding out we were not happy, finding out that we was in a very distraught situation, was that we didn't have a vision. We didn't have a vision for our marriage because the only goal was happy. So we begin to put vision on a marriage. We begin to set goals. We begin to give our marriage a purpose. And one of the greatest purposes that we gave our marriage was the purpose for for growth. That we would agree to grow and become better people in the marriage. Not better for the sake of the marriage, but better for the sake of ourselves, so that then in the marriage we could be two better people. So here's my question to you today. Who are you bringing to the relationships you're in? Like, have you really sat down and thought about what would it be like to be married to you? What would it be like to be in a committed relationship with you? And I know, like, we are so jaded. This is why I know that this is why I like the concept of Jesus, because we are so jaded. We think that we are the best example of humanity. Like we we think we'll look at our life and we'll think if everyone do things the way I do things, if they would listen to me, if people would love like me, be like me, see things like me, then the world would be better. And certainly when we're in relationships, right? Particularly as women. And please challenge me, come at me if you disagree with what I'm saying. But particularly as women, we have our perspective that if he would see it the way I see it, if he would do it the way I do it, our life would be better, our marriage would be better, our relationship would be better, he would be better, right? But think about this. I'm a Bible girl. In the beginning, when God said he created Adam and Eve, he created male and female. I thought it was interesting he didn't create them at the same time, nor were the either one in the room when the other one was being created. But he did create female from Adam so that they could be connected. So I say that to say, I do not believe we are supposed to be alike. I do not believe we are supposed to fully um, understand each other in the way that Eve needed to be like Adam, Adam needed to be like Eve. No, they was two separate individuals. And in your relationships, you guys are two separate individuals. The blessing is when you can learn to appreciate the other person. You get to have imagine that like you get to move through life with a perspective that you could not have without that person in your life. And but the problem is many times we don't honor other people's perspective. We have been so convinced that the way our life is, the way our family is the best. And so that there's something wrong with you if you don't see the world the way I see it. There's something wrong with you if you don't see life the way I see it. And this is causing such contention in relationships, in marriages. So I would encourage you to investigate, who am I? Like, who are you bringing to the relationship? Who are you bringing to the friendship, to the marriage? Like, who are you? One of the things that I'll often ask Andre is, what can I do? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see our marriage? And then whatever his answer is, what can I do to make it a 10? In the effort to be a better me, not so much to like make him do what I want him to do. And this was growth, guys. Like historically, that wasn't always my story. The other thing I encourage you to do in relationship, in marriage, in any relationship, in friendship, in sister brother, in mother daughter, in relationship, what is the purpose of the relationship? Start giving your relationships permission to have purpose. Allowing it to. Are you willing to grow in the relationship? Is the relationship, are we together for a short time to create something and then we'll go our separate ways, which is okay too. Like there's some business partnerships and they may not be like um all hammered out on paper as partnerships, but strategically two people can get together, have a vision about something. For instance, in the community here, Jet and I oftentimes we have an idea or a vision for the community of the women here in Rocky Mount, and we get together to pull that off. That's not about us like she's my business partner and it's heart written. It's just two women who have a heart for other women, and we know we could do more together than we can do separately. So we come together. What is the purpose of the relationship? Now, what happens is we get into every relationship with the same idea to be happy, to you're going to be my friend. And many of us have these definitions of what it requires to be a friend, and we never communicate it. So, one thing that I used to just tickle me about Bryson, particularly when he was very young, sixth, seventh grade, when we moved to China, he would meet people, and my mom, when he would come home, my mom would say, "Bryson, have you met any friends?" And he was like, "Not friends, associates," because he had these hard lines about, in order to be my friend, and he was very clear about, these people are my associates, but they're not my friends. And I think many of us, we take people who are associates, we put them in the friend zone, and then the moment they break the rule that they don't even know you have, we get rid of them. We are such a society that, again, because we do not know how to communicate our feelings, we don't know how to receive other people's feelings without getting emotional, without being on defense, being on attack. we think the answer is, well, I'll just get rid of them. I won't talk to them. I ignore them. I cut them off. But that's not healthy. It's not healthy. So how can we become a people that have healthy relationships? One, get clear about what do you need? What does it mean to you to be a friend? Like for me, if you say you're my friend and you never spend time with me, in my mind, I don't see us as friends. And so we can be friendly, we can hang out, but in my mind, you're an associate. Because my love language is quality time. So if there is no quality time, and then I hear you say, "Oh, Kenisha's my girl, she's my friend," my mind would be like, I, "Oh, I didn't know." Like I wouldn't know that you consider me your friend if you don't spend time with me. Like, I completely miss that. So quality time is huge for me. And so in relationships, right? When I'm in a relationship with people, I'm often asking for your time. Gifts are cute, but I want time. And if you can't give me time, somewhere inside of me, I'll go, okay, that's cool. They're wonderful people and I love them, but obviously we're not friends. Um, do I always communicate that? Now the older me does. Maybe historically I didn't, but the older me worked really hard to say, I would like to spend time with you. And if the time isn't offered, I assume that we're good, but we're not good. Like an Usher song. The third thing I encourage you to do is after you have figured out who you are bringing to the relationship, just figuring out what is the purpose of the relationship. I want you to think about how are you defining love. Be clear about what defines love for you because we have these fairy tale understanding of love, love shouldn't hurt. um if you love me you would do A, B, and C. uh, if they love me I would do this, like, that's one of the things I hear particular people say all the time. If it was me, I would do A, B, and C. And so I don't understand why they don't do that because they're not you. Like, like I think that's the worst thing in the world to say to a person or to do to a person is to put on the assumption that if they love you, they would behave like you behave in your love. We have to all remember that we all grew up with our own individual parents, situations, experiences. So I may not know to love like you love, but I am the person who emotional maturity, I work very hard at it. I'm not perfect at it, but like I want to know your love language so that I love you from your language and not love you in mine. Again, like I said, my love language is quality time. But if your love language is gifts and services, and I'm over here trying to spend time with you, and you're like, girl, I done had a party, I had a birthday, and you ain't gave me a gift. I don't get why this, if it was me, and when I show up at people parties, I always have a gift. That's because you're probably loving from your love language, but you're not finding out what their love language is. And I can certainly be guilty of that part in the friendship. Like, I need to know, what do you need? And I have often asked people, how can I serve you? What do you need? What will make your day? What is it that you want? And I am not always blown away, but I often recognize people won't tell you. I don't know, I'm fine. Whatever you want, it's okay. But you know deep down that's not true because then when the person is out of your sight, out of the room, and you are talking to other people, you would talk about where they fell short with you instead of answering the question, how can I serve you? What can I do to help? What do you need? Like I remember one time being in a company of women and this lady, she had gone through cancer and she said, I was so surprised that the people who I thought was my friends weren't there, but the people like from my church and these people who barely knew me, they were the ones who was there. And I was just so now people who for years I thought was my friend, I'm now questioning their friendship. And I offered the idea that everybody doesn't love and serve the same. Like my mom is a natural, if something is happening, my mom is naturally, she's going to go and she's going to get the food and the groceries and those kind of things. I don't think to do that, but I am very much that if I come into your space and you're going through disaster, can I clean your house for you? What can I take off your plate? But I don't know to show up with food. Like that's not going to be my first instinct. Um, but people will hold people hostage to what they assume a person should do. But yet when asked, what do you need? How can I serve you? I'm fine. I don't know, girl, I can't, so how can we build better relationships if none of us are willing to communicate more effectively? So I want to offer you the opportunity to learn tools and strategies for effective communication. And that is when you come up like onto my campus, the Very Thoughtful World, and you begin to learn who you are. You begin to learn to set visions and goals for every area of your life, in your relationships, in your finances, in your the gifts or the dreams that you have. Have a vision for it. And then lastly, you learn to be able to communicate and define what it is you need. What are those emotional needs? How are they showing up in your life? How are they driving you? What is it that you really need that you're not telling people you need? Um, what is it that you're giving, hoping that people catch the like maybe they'll understand, like if I give this, they'll see that I need it. We not that smart. We're not. Just many of us, you just have to tell us. And I think if you learn to trust yourself with the vulnerability of being able to say, this is what I need. Trust yourself that you can recover if they can't give it to you. Trust yourself enough that if they aren't capable, if they don't have the capacity to love at the level you need, you're going to still be okay. Trust yourself enough to know that their shortcomings in your world or the way you're measuring things, they're not about you. They may affect you, but they're not about you. And when you learn to trust yourself in that level, then prayerfully you get to a place where you learn to say and ask for what you need. So I pray that this was a blessing. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message. And will you do me a favor? Will you like, share, and comment on this video? All right, have a blessed day. Remember, it is your thoughts that's creating your decisions, and your decisions that's determining your destiny. Let's make an amazing, thoughtful life so that you can have an amazing destiny. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.